So we designed it to be a cumulative impact. Your cumulative pollution burden is going to demonstrate whether or not you show up high. But we're working with the Tribal Advisory Committee that we're working on, and in our new tribal advisory policy, we are working on this tool. So the next version includes some of those things. But that's yeah.
Great. So, Jalon?
Yeah, I'll try to make it quick. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you all sharing your solution and again thinking outside the box. But you know, the environmental justice community broadly has been really challenged by this whole cap and trade. And I may have missed it, but I just want to clarify, when you talk about anything, it's about reducing the emissions where it counts. And you have, Cal Viral Screen and all those good tools, but have you actually seen emissions reduced where it counts? Because that's why we're doing all this stuff. Again, I think the economic piece, workforce development is key, but have you seen emissions reduced in those communities?
Yeah, so we definitely want the emissions reduced in these communities, and so we're using a couple of different strategies. And I think I want to distinguish between the front end of these climate programs in California and the back end. So the front end, they're using the carbon mechanism under the carbon trading, and we prefer a different method of reducing emissions on the front end, and then on the back end, they're generating resources, and we want to make sure the climate pollution reduction projects are happening in environmental justice communities so that the emissions are reduced there. So on the back end, we're doing much better, and on the front end, what we will see this year in California, the cap and trade program, they really started the trading in 2012. 2015 is the first year the polluters are going to be surrendering their permits, and so this is the first year we're actually going to see where the emissions are being reduced, because there's all this reporting that polluters have to do. This is the first year, so 2-3 years later, that we're going to see that data. In general, California is starting to meet those emissions reductions. So a lot of it is under energy because there's a lot of clean energy that's coming online. What we're seeing is, what we're particularly interested in is that the big industrial pollution is diminishing. And so we're looking at those charts, and we will know more at the end of the year.
Still to be continued.
Richard?
Yeah, I just wanted to commend again the panelists on excellent presentations. I do have to, for the record, I think, Darlene, I'm not going to ask you to continue that discussion. We're not here to debate the question of tax and trade, or cap and trade, cap and tax, or whatever that may be. But I do have to put on the record, on behalf of the Environmental Justice Health Alliance for Chemical Policy Reform and Los Alamos Business Institute, which we are a member of, we do not support the cap and trade scheme, and actually our recommendation to the administration actually was cap and tax. And so we knew exactly what we were going to do, what the response to that was going to be, and the challenge along with that. But that's been our position. So that's no disrespect to our panelists. For those of you who don't know, Shankar and I worked together for years and years on the DJAC. Also with Charles. Charles is a lot older than I am, just joking, Charles. But Charles and I also have worked together for years. And Mary Rose, as she stated earlier, was a youth intern with the Southwest Network when I was the coordinator of the Southwest Network. So again, thank you. I'm not asking you to response. I just need to put our position on the table.
And one last question, Dean?
Yeah, maybe I missed it. Maybe this is an obvious question, but on the funding end of this money, are the tribes in California eligible to get some of that funding?
The tribes in California are eligible for funding, but they're also eligible for, we have some of our biggest offset projects under the cap and trade program.
Some of the tribes that are doing utility scale projects are in the offset part of it. But
through the funding, through the funding programs, that's a good question. I believe they are, but I'll have to get back to you on that. I think they are, but I'll have to get back to you because, as Colleen pointed out, these emitted there's a web of administrative agencies that are administering this money. It's just not one agency. And usually how it works in California, as you know, if it's not explicitly in there that tribes are eligible, traditionally the state of California takes a position that, it's these other local entities. But I think it says specifically community-based organizations. I don't think there's a specific call-out to tribal organizations, but I'll have to check. I'm not sure. I should know that, but I don't.
Can we have a conversation about that?
Absolutely.
We have
So,
we have an office in Sacramento that would be very interested in following up.
Yeah. I want to say yes, but I would have to double check.
Can we follow up? It does say that community-based organizations and tribes are eligible. What we're seeing in the communities are that they actually have to apply for grants for these projects. If they don't apply, then the grants are not going to go to them. So that's the tricky thing right now is, are there projects that we know of that are ready to be funded right now? And do we have the capacity to apply for those? And so I think that is a question, and the eligibility is there.
So, let me conclude by saying a few things before we thank this panel. Is that one of the reasons why we wanted to have this panel is to really engage people around the experience in California, around this very important aspect of environmental justice policy, equity, climate, and so on and so forth. And this is an unfolding story. And that these challenges, there's a lot of challenges. You haven't heard any, but a little bit of the challenges involved. And some of the challenges are the ones that are raised by the questions, and there are many others. And the fact that we should have a dialogue about this, about these challenges, is part of the real effort here, because all of us getting involved in this is something that they can benefit from, but everybody else can also learn from. So, I don't think this is like they've been saying over and over again. This is just one part of that story, and the journey is going to be a long one, and it's something that I think we all need to be part of engaging in, because this is, in fact, one of the most significant things that happened today in the arena of climate justice. So there's a couple of things that we've been thinking about in terms of following up. One is that we've been thinking about sponsoring a national webinar around this, and within the next couple of months we'll probably try to do something like that, and we welcome you and everyone else to participate. And the second is that, like I said, this panel did not really do justice to the conversation that's needed. So we're thinking about holding another session, more like a seminar, where we can dig into a lot of these issues, perhaps sponsored by some groups here and some universities and so on and so forth. So these are some of the things we're thinking about. We've got other ideas about how to promote this dialogue. I really want to hear about it. So I would end by saying that this is just the beginning of the conversation. So let me ask you to really thank this panel for the work they've done and for the lessons they've learned.